Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video here on the SSA Philosophy channel, where we dive right on into the philosophy of characters, from video games to TV shows to movies, etc., etc. So, in today's video, we are going to go over the philosophy of the character known as Tommy Vercetti. So, as always, on this channel, without any further ado, let us not waste any time here today. Let's go on ahead and let us get started. So, in the neon drenched jungles of Vice City, a sprawling metropolis bathed in 1980s excess, rises Tommy Vercetti. Now, Tommy, he's a complex character, a product of loyalty, ambition, and a whole lot of rage. And also voiced by the iconic Ray Liotta, whose performance channeled the energy of classic gangster films. And of course, the character, that he played, known as Tommy, Tommy in Vice City, in GTA Vice City, really is a force to be reckoned with. So really our story begins with Tommy's release from a 15-year prison stint for a murder that he committed for the Forelli family, a powerful Italian-American mafia clan, and pretty much the most powerful crime, pretty much the most powerful mafia crime family in all of America at this time. And really now a free man, but really a hardened one. Tommy heads to Vice City on orders from his boss, Sonny Forelli. And the mission is to oversee a drug deal. But the thing is, though, is that Vice City, a land of opportunity and corruption, in equal measure, has other plans for Tommy. So really, the deal goes south, leaving him empty-handed and embroiled in a web of deceit. So really, this sets the stage for Tommy's transformation because no longer is he a loyal soldier, you know, because really the ambush, at the drug deal, it really ignites a fire within him because he's a man scorned, his trust shattered, filled by a potent cocktail of revenge and ambition. And really, Tommy, he carves his own path because he leverages his ruthlessness and cunning to navigate the treacherous landscape of Vice City's criminal underbelly. And he also forms alliances, some temporary, and others forged in the fires of shared interest. And he also clashes with rival gangs, corrupt cops, and even flamboyant drug kingpins. So through it all, Tommy's temper is a constant companion because he's prone to violent outbursts, a hair trigger reaction that can escalate situations in an instant. But really, this, volatility is balanced by a surprising strategic mind because Tommy can size up an opportunity and plot a course of action with surprising effectiveness. And he recognizes the potential in Vice City's, burgeoning cocaine trade and the power vacuum left by the botched deal. So really, as he eliminates his enemies and he seizes control of lucrative rackets, a ruthless pragmatism emerges because he understands the value of loyalty, surrounding himself with capable lieutenants like Lance Vance and the ever-wary lawyer Ken Rosenberg. And he also cultivates a reputation for efficiency and ruthlessness, ensuring his dominance. And really, his rise, it isn't solely about bloodshed, but really it's about building an empire brick by bloody brick. So really by the game's climax, Tommy Vercetti is no longer the ex-convict who arrived in Vice City with a suitcase full of questions. But really he's transformed into a powerful kingpin, the undisputed ruler of his criminal domain. The transformation, however, though, it comes at a cost because the path to power is paved with betrayal, and Tommy isn't innocent, of his own share. Because the line between ambition and ruthlessness, it blurs, leaving us to question whether victory truly belongs to Tommy Vercetti. So really, is he the architect of his own destiny, or is he a pawn caught in the machinations of a larger game? And really, that's the brilliance of Tommy Vercetti, because he's a character who invites us to ponder the complexities of ambition, and the allure of power and the price of achieving both. So with the introduction out of the way, let's go on ahead and dive into the philosophy of the character Tommy Vercetti. And this is what I like to call the Vercetti Doctrine, a philosophy of vice. So the first part we want to focus on is might makes right. So morality is a luxury that Vice City can't afford. Power is everything, and time respects those, only those who can seize it and hold it. And loyalty is a byproduct of fear and betrayal, which really is pretty much is a shrewd tactic. And trust is a weakness, to be exploited. So really, Tommy, he prioritizes eliminating threats and consolidating power, and he uses violence and intimidation to achieve his own goals. regardless of the moral implications. So really consider how he deals with rival gangs, or you may say those who betray him. Just think about that. Consider that. And the thing about Tommy is that he also prioritizes his own survival and success above all else, because he's willing to break deals and manipulate others if it benefits him in the long run. And this is pretty much evident in his power, pretty much in his rise to power within the criminal underworld. Because the thing about Tommy is that he trusts very few people and constantly guards against betrayal, because he operates with the assumption that others will only respect him through fear or force. And this is reflected in his inner circle, being composed mainly of those that he can control. And really building an empire is really a key motivator for Tommy, because he craves wealth, influence, and control over Vice City, because he sees might as the means to acquire this power. And also, another part I want to focus on is, of course, the American Dream, the Vice City edition. So, really, Tommy's rags to riches story really is a twisted take on the American dream, because success isn't measured by hard work, but by cunning and ruthlessness. And the ends justify the means, and the means are often brutal. So really, in Tommy Vercetti's mind, in his mind, he thinks this. He thinks this pretty much. That Vice City is a land of opportunity. And that much is pretty much true. But opportunity is like a greased pig. You got to grab it. Grab it good and hold on for dear life. And you also got to be willing to get your hands dirty. To scrap and claw your way to the top, because there will be those who try to stop you, such as like the Pirellis, the Cubans, the Haitians, the cops that you take in the game. Pretty much all those games are on the take of it all. Who will try to stop you. So really consider them, to be bumps on the road, because either run them off, run them over, or swerve around them, but never let them, never let them slow you down. And think about this is also the fact that, in his mind, that loyalty is a luxury that you can't afford, because people will screw you over as soon as they think it benefits them. So really keep your circle tight, but trust no one completely, because trust is a bullet that you can only fire once. So make it count. And also, violence. Violence is going to be part of the game, because you got to be willing to use it, but to use it smart. So really don't go around blasting everyone that you see. Pick your fights carefully. Know who you're dealing with. And really, if you're going to pick a fight, with somebody, or pick a fight with these gangs in general, then really make them count. Because sometimes a strategically placed bullet is worth more than a briefcase full of cash. And really, here's the most important part. And the most important part in Tommy Vercetti's mind, how he thinks, is to never stop climbing, because there's always going to be someone bigger, badder, and richer. So really don't let that intimidate you, but really use it as motivation. Take what they got, take it all, and then keep climbing. Because the American dream, it ain't for the faint of heart, but really it's for the ruthless, the ambitious, and the ones who ain't afraid to step on, pretty much to step on a few necks to get to the top. And that's the American dream, Vice City style. You got to take it, you got to fight for it, and you got to be willing to do whatever it takes to win. So really, in his mind, pretty much, welcome to the jungle. So overall, we got to go out there and go get what's yours. And also another part we want to focus on in Tommy Vercetti's philosophy is every man for himself. So like I said before, so Vice City is a jungle, and Tommy is a predator at the top of the food chain. So really, he views cooperation with suspicion. Forming alliances only when strategically advantageous. Because he discards those who have outlived their usefulness without a second thought. So really, Tommy, his distrust really of everyone, really it led him to be constantly on guard. Because he surrounded himself with yes men and associates he believed were easily manipulated. And this lack of genuine connection, it left him isolated and vulnerable. And really, the enemies lurked in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to exploit his paranoia and his ever dwindling, circle of trust. And also, when it comes to Tommy, when it comes to like this part of his philosophy, because the thing is that this part of his philosophy, it blinded him to the loyalty of those that he considered to be close, like Lance. Lance was his right hand man. Somebody that Tommy met early in the game. Somebody that he thought was his best friend. His best friend, like a brother to him, basically. But ultimately, though, he betrayed him. Betrayed him overall. Basically swayed by a bigger payout and a thirst for power, by having to betray him to join up with Sonny Forelli. But then again, honestly, Even Lance. I mean, honestly, Lance was an idiot. For doing that. For betraying Tommy. Because I tell you one thing. I mean, Lance and say in this case, say if Tommy did get killed in the final mission of the game. Say if he did get killed. Honestly, Sonny would just eliminate him immediately. Like literally would kill him and then literally take everything that Tommy had in Vice City, take it for his own. So honestly, Lance was an idiot. Like really a dumb idiot he was. So yeah, really this betrayal, really it did strike a deep chord with Tommy. Shattering his illusion of control and exposing the emptiness of his self-serving philosophy. And the thing is that, while he has achieved a level of power in Vice City, it was ultimately a hollow victory because when it comes to every man for himself, this left him a broken man, surrounded by the ruins of his own making. And really, his story, I want to say it serves as a cautionary tale that pretty much a reminder, that true success and even survival often relies on building trust and forging alliances. And also, another part I want to focus on in Tommy's philosophy is that paradise is built on blood. So really, Vice City, its neon lights and its hedonism are a facade, because beneath the glitz lies a foundation of violence and corruption. So Tommy understands this because he doesn't shy away from the violence himself, because he wields it like a tool to maintain his own personal paradise. So Vice City, it thrives on a brutal economy. Drugs, prostitution, and gang warfare feel pretty much they fuel Tommy's rise because he's not innocent because his hands are stained, but he is just really a product of his, pretty much a product of the system or a willing participant. So really, can violence ever be justified in the pursuit of power? Now the answer it haunts Tommy because his paradise pretty much it rests on a foundation of shattered lives, a chilling reminder of the costs of his ambition. And the Vice City glitters, glitters with the promise of an opulent dream, fast money, fleeting pleasure, fleeting pleasures, and really it's that. I mean, really it's just that. Like it's a seductive illusion because Tommy, once an outsider, has become consumed by this lifestyle. But true happiness remains elusive because his wealth can't erase the scars of betrayal and loss. So really, can a life, built on stolen dreams, ever be fulfilling? So perhaps there is a flicker of hope. Tommy's journey isn't entirely devoid of loyalty. So really, he guards. Like the thing about Tommy is that he isn't entirely devoid of loyalty because, like I said, because I mean he guards those that he trusts fiercely, like Lance. Like somebody like who was like a wayward brother to him. And maybe these fragile bonds. Maybe they offer a chance. For redemption. So really, can he find a way to break free from the cycle of violence? Can he build a genuine paradise from the ashes of his bloody past? Well, then again, probably the answer in this case probably might be like, say, no, he can't. But then again, I'll leave that up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave that I'll leave that pretty much up to you. So really, the answer remains unwritten because Vice City's allure is undeniable, but really, so is its darkness. Because Tommy Vercetti stands at a crossroads. Like will he succumb to the city's corrupting influence or forge a new path, one where paradise isn't just a bloody illusion, but a genuine possibility? And also another part we want to focus on is adapt or die. So the criminal underworld, the criminal world is a constant struggle for survival. And Tommy, he thrives on the chaos because really his ruthlessness, a perfect fit for Vice City's volatile underbelly, really it's perfect. It's a perfect fit for him. Perfect. Because he's a master strategist, able to adapt to changing situations and exploit any weakness. Now, Vice City has molded Tommy into a diamond under pressure because he clawed his way up from exiled gangster to criminal kingpin, all while the city itself was in flux. So the glitz and the glamour, it masked a constant churn, a ruthless game where empires were built and shattered overnight. So Tommy understood this inherent instability because he'd seen it, in Sonny's downfall, the Forelli's retreat, and the rise of like say new players as well too. And obviously like when it came to downfalls like say Ricardo Diaz as well too. And really the city, really it thrived on chaos. and to survive, you had to not only adapt, but leverage that chaos. So really, Vice City, it wasn't really just about muscle and firepower, but really it was a labyrinth of corrupt politicians, fickle media and a justice system easily manipulated by the right amount of cash. So Tommy, ever the pragmatist, began to see these as tools because he bribed officials to turn a blind eye to his operations, to use the media to smear rivals and twist the law to his own advantage. Now, Vice City's flaws became his weapons. And really, the city was a living organism, constantly changing. New drugs flooded the streets, technology advanced, and public tastes, shifted. Tommy, though, however, stayed ahead of the curve because he diversified his operations, moving beyond cocaine into counterfeiting and weapon smuggling. And he also invested in emerging technologies like communication and transportation. And he cultivated a network of informants to keep his finger on the pulse of the city. So really change, it wasn't really just external because Tommy himself understood the need for personal growth. The impulsive hitman of Forelli's past wouldn't have survived Vice City. So he became a cunning strategist, a shrewd businessman, and a ruthless diplomat when necessary because he surrounded himself with advisors who could challenge him and offer him new perspectives. And really, Tommy Vercetti, his story became a legend in the criminal underworld because he wasn't just a survivor, but he was a testament to the power of adaptation. And he thrived in a world of chaos because he understood its nature and played by its rules. And really, his part of his philosophy, adapt or die. It wasn't just about muscle. It was about embracing change, manipulating the system, and constantly evolving in the ever shifting sands of Vice City. So Tommy stood as a rock, a testament to the relentless pursuit of domination through adaptation. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much overall comes down to the conclusion of this video here today. But truth is, the Vercetti Doctrine, it isn't really a pretty philosophy because it's a brutal code of conduct for a brutal world. Yet within its darkness, it lies a twisted truth about the nature of power and the hollowness of the American dream. Because, like, pretty much in a place like Vice City. So yeah, really, it's a philosophy. Not for the faint of heart, but a fitting one for a man who carved his own empire from the sun-drenched vice of this neon-lit city. And really, Tommy Vercetti, his journey in Grand Theft Auto, Vice City is really a twisted tale of ambition, betrayal, and ultimately, triumph. Arriving as a loyal but expendable enforcer for the Forelli family, Tommy quickly finds himself embroiled in a web of deceit. The ambush in which 11 guys tried to kill him, when really it was one man that he had to kill in Hardwood, that pretty much lands him in prison for 15 years. In those 15 years, it casts a long shadow, and it shapes him into the ruthless criminal mastermind that we all come to know. So emerging from prison, with a steely resolve and a thirst for revenge, Tommy navigates the treacherous waters of Vice City's criminal underworld because he's a survivor at his core, adept at violence, but also possessing a keen strategic mind. He builds alliances, he seizes opportunities, and eliminates those who stand in his way. So whether it's the treacherous Lance Vance betraying him or the tyrannical Sonny Forelli attempting to reclaim control, Tommy shows a ruthless pragmatism, eliminating threats with cold efficiency. Yet the thing about Tommy is that, Tommy isn't just some one dimensional caricature of a gangster because he displays flashes of loyalty, particularly towards those who can pretty much prove their worth. And Lance Vance, despite his eventual betrayal, is initially a trusted confidant. And Ken Rosenberg, pretty much the slimy lawyer, becomes a reluctant but valuable asset to Tommy. And really, in the end of Vice City of the story, Ken Rosenberg pretty much is like the one like true friend, at Tommy Vercetti, pretty much the one true friend, like pretty much the one loyal man, loyal friend, for Tommy Vercetti, honestly, at the end of the story, and not Lance. And so yeah, the thing about Tommy is even though his ruthless streak, it can be seen as a twisted form of loyalty, a determination to build an empire where he calls the shots, never to be betrayed again. So really the climax of the game. is a brutal ballet, of violence because Tommy's meticulously constructed empire is threatened by the Ferrelli family, forcing him to confront the demons of his past. And the final showdown atop Vercetti estate is a cathartic release, a bloody resolution to the years of simmering resentment with Sonny's, and pretty much with Sonny Ferrelli's demise. Tommy transcends his role as the enforcer and becomes the undisputed kingpin of Vice City. But really, what lies beyond that bloody victory? Well, the ending pretty much offers hints of a future built on Tommy's ruthless pragmatism because really he severs ties, with the past, leaving Ken Rosenberg stranded and his connection to the Forellis pretty much definitively cuts. And the reason why he pretty much, left Ken Rosenberg stranded pretty much, as you can pretty much see, Ken Rosenberg appeared in San Andreas and GTA was because Ken Rosenberg obviously had obviously he was addicted to cocaine, of course, in the game of Vice City, and not only was he the lawyer for Tommy Vercetti, but he was also the guy who pretty much laundered the money. So he was the guy that was responsible for laundering the dirty money. So the thing is that with Ken Rosenberg, with his addiction, it only takes one mistake, and overall, it all can go downhill for Tommy's organization, his criminal organization that he built when he arrived in Vice City. So that's pretty much the reason why he left Ken Rosenberg stranded, and that's why we pretty much see him and pretty much we see him the way that he was in GTA San Andreas because of that. So yeah, so really Tommy Vercetti is a man who thrives in chaos, and Vice City is a city on the verge of explosive growth. And really it offers him the perfect environment to build his criminal empire. So yes, Tommy Vercetti, his story is a dark reflection of the American dream gone astray because he achieves power and wealth, but at a terrible cost because he is forever marked by violence and betrayal. A man who can never truly trust really anyone. Yet his ruthless ambition and strategic brilliance are undeniable. But Tommy Vercetti, though, is a complex and compelling character, a product of circumstance who carves his own bloody path, to the top. So whether villain or anti-hero, he remains one of gaming's most iconic figures and really is a testament to the enduring allure of the gangster archetype. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that of course is the end of this video here today. And of course, as always, if you stayed this long and watching this video all together, then I want to thank you. I want to really give you all the big appreciation, for staying this far all together and enjoying the video if you did. But as always, if you, of course, if you did like this video, of course, don't forget to like, to comment, and subscribe for more explorations into the minds of your favorite characters on the channel, and also to hit and also to hit the notification bell to stay updated on my latest videos as well too. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that of course is the end. So overall, I want you all to have a very wonderful, beautiful, and blissful day today. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to always be smooth, to always be steady, and to always be aggressive. Peace.